welcome to the channel after a long hiatus. I think last you came during Minnal Murli, so it's been like 4 months.
No. Last, I think we did a discussion. I think we did for Geraya. Remember?
Oh yeah, I mean that movie and both our stream were so forgetful that
Yes.
I completely because Minnal Murli we had such a good response from people, so I
Yeah.
just remembered that. But uh, first of all, congratulations on your channel crossing 100K.
Thank you.
I saw the silver button, and
Thank
of
you.
course, I mean the journey from 100K to 110K has been so quick as well. Like I was noticing that.
Same.
So,
I think now it's time that I should actually, in depth look at my Google Analytics and see
yeah,
what is going on.
yeah. I mean,
Because I see it from upper se, and I'm like, this is a basic things, basic analytics. No, I think I have to do some in-depth research myself for my own channel.
yeah, that's true. I mean, people also probably start taking YouTubers seriously when they once they get the silver button. Maybe that's also there. But abhi, we are still very new in that. So, okay. So today the topic of discussion is going to be the three huge films that have come all almost together. I mean, two of them came in the gap of a day, and
Right.
then the other one came. Little bit a bit of I think a month ago or something.
Yeah, sort of, you can say.
Yeah. So I thought, since all of them have a common thread, I mean, all of them are South Indian films, and they have that kind of a pan-India approach. So I thought, okay, let's have a sort of a comparative analysis and a discussion on all of them all together. Uh, just let me quickly check if it's working all right on my YouTube channel because I am doing this live
I can
stream for the
also
very
check.
first time
I can also check.
uh, from my channels, like from this restream. So let me see if it's. Yep, it seems to be all fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can also see.
Yeah, can you like share it as well so that people from your end also come? So two people have already. Okay, I can see the comments. Sanjeev Nair says hi and Surendra Banjara hello hi बोल रहे हैं.
Hello,
So
hi.
so welcome to everyone who is going to join as well later on. So first of all, out of these three, Beast and RRR and KGF,
Hmm.
out of these three, which one was the one you were looking forward to the most out of these three when the trailers came or when the announcements were made?
Uh, I think more. I was very hyped for RRR and KGF
Yeah.
2 particularly. KGF 2 because of course I already am a big fan of the first one,
Okay.
so there was a different level of excitement. And RRR
Mm.
because I mean it has been in the works for so long
Yeah.
and gotten delayed. So the hype. I mean people thought that the hype is going to die down and all of that. So many people were discussing that also.
Yeah.
RRR, so many release delays, so the hype has died down. But I don't think so. I was equally like I was already very hyped for the movie. So yeah, these two. And Beast, I was excited because of Nelson and Talapati combination. So
Okay.
it was a different. So for every movie, I had different reason and different level of excitements depend. Like for RRR, it was specifically the brand of Rajamouli that was
Okay.
pulling me into the theater.
Okay.
For Beast specifically, it was the combination of the director and the actor both. It's
Mhm.
very interesting. So in RRR, it was the director. In Beast, it was both of them because I really wanted a different kind of spin in a Talapati movie because Nelson was the director. So I had that excitement level because of this combination. And for KGF, it was Yash. So it was
Mm.
for one, it was the director. For the second, it was the actor plus the director. For the third, it was the actor. So
Okay.
three different reasons for excitement.
And once you went to the theaters to watch it, so just very simple question: which one did you enjoy the most? I mean, once you came out of theater after watching, like which one left the biggest smile on your face?
It has to be KGF 2
Okay.
because a lot of it depended on the theater atmosphere also,
Yeah.
like the energy that the crowd had.
Hmm.
when I went for KGF 2, it was a different level of enthusiasm. It was
Mm.
a different, like, that it was all because of Yash.
Okay.
People were expecting him to be with all the swagger and, being the larger than life one man army. And I went for, like I said, for KGF 2, it was the actor that completely pulled me into the theaters. So I really had an amazing crowd, and like the hooting and shouting, everything was there. But it was not that loud to the point that you can't enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Like, we all of us knew we want to enjoy the movie, but we also want to cheer and clap, and whenever the songs are happening, so we want to do all of those things. So I
Yeah.
had a really, really amazing crowd for KGF 2. So in terms of enjoyability in the theater, it was definitely, for me, KGF 2 was the most enjoyable. And also I went with my dad, uh,
Hmm.
so for both Beast and KGF 2. So I went with my father. So I mean, I could. That was another added thing that, watching like a father-daughter outing kind of thing that is happening. So after such a long time, so that was nice. And he himself is a big fan of movies from South India. So
Okay. So
yeah,
you didn't take him for Beast?
I took him for Beast. For Beast also,
Okay.
he actually is. You know, he I started enjoying Tamil films because of him, because TV पे आता रहता था,
Yeah.
the Hindi dubbed, and all of that. So he is already a huge fan of Tamil films and Telugu films in general since long.
Okay.
So I introduced him to Malayalam films because I keep sending him recommendation,
Hmm.
and I made him watch because वो पूरा week my family was visiting, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. I know.
yeah, so I was like, you have to watch KGF 1. If you like it, we will both go together. If you don't like it, then I can go alone. But I have to watch this movie. I want to watch this movie. So I'll probably take a morning show or something like that. But he really liked KGF 1, so like, chalo, we'll watch another movie. In one span of 1 week, we'll watch two movies. I was like, great. So he also enjoyed KGF 2 a lot.
So there's a comment from Sajeev Nair. He says RRR slightly better than KGF 2 for him. So we'll come to
Okay.
the analysis part as well. Now, talking about like which one you enjoyed the most or which one you were looking for the most. Now, for me, so I watched all three of them at sort of a same time period because I had missed RRR before and I just recently got a chance to watch. And
Okay.
of course, the other two have just come. So for me, the first thought that came was like, and I can include Pushpa as well in this. Like, are we going back to those days where people used to make those kind of very loud and these kind of over the top, larger than life sort of character driven films where you know uh, it's all about the hoots in the theater and complete entertainment sort of thing. So do you think somewhat the kind of films that are coming out now, these kind of films, it also has to do with the fact that people were so hungry to go out in theaters because of the 2 years of pandemic
Hmm.
that these films are now also reaping rewards of that hunger that people had somewhat.
It could be a factor, but I don't think it's the only factor. These movies, like for something, just let me take RR as an example. I mean, it is Rajamouli that has actually created the buzz for that movie, because he
Yeah.
delivered something so larger than life with both the Bahubalis, that
Yeah.
that is the expectation. So see, for me, that is what, when I go into the theaters, there is one or two specific things that I want from that movie,
Hmm.
because I cannot expect every story to be nuanced, every character to
Yeah.
have layers and all, because every movie serves its own purpose,
Yeah.
and we should have a combination of all of those things. So for Rajamouli, I wanted that visual spectacle,
Yeah.
particularly because if I go to the theaters and a movie which is promising me that visual spectacle, if I just by looking at the trailers, if I don't get that in the movie, I would have been very, very disappointed. So I knew that yes, his heroes are going to be larger than life, and I know he made this movie pertaining, like, thinking that yes, I need to give a grand theater experience to my audience. I need to tap into the emotions. I need to give them a spectacle. I need to generate those hoots and cheers or whatever. And he delivered on those aspects for me. So I never went into the theater looking for a very well layered, nuanced, character driven story. I did not go for that. For me, if you have watched all my three reviews, for me, I think the most I wouldn't say really negative, but in terms of a critique that I gave as a viewer was for Beast. And again, the director was the reason for that.
Yeah.
Because when I know that Talapati Vijay is a part of that movie, I expect him to do all those amazing stunts and be all have that swag and attitude because fans are used to that. So that is the fan service. And I
Mm.
expected that fan service. But when you have a director like Nelson who thinks out of the box, who has his own directorial style, that is what my expectation was, that yes, I will get the fan service, but I will also get that dark humor that Nelson is so famous for and known for, and I did not get that. So that's where I got disappointed when it came to the direction of that movie. So I got served like 50-50 in that case. That okay, fine, Talapati Vijay being all awesome, because honestly Beast did not bore me in the theater. Like
Yeah.
in no point I was like, I'm getting bored, what is happening, aage badao movie. I was like, fine. But when you are with Nelson, I expect the
But
nuanced
but
characters.
but I saw your review. Okay, in that you also mentioned that if it were not a Talapati Vijay's movie, probably I wouldn't have
I
enjoyed
wouldn't
Beast
have
as well.
correct. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have enjoyed, because already Nelson was not doing his what was his forte.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it was some other hero, okay, pulling in all those stunts, I don't think I would have enjoyed. It was just because you have not given in a formidable villain also in that movie.
Yeah.
Nelson is known to make his supporting characters and his main lead very, very nuanced. So I
Yeah.
did not get that. So somewhere that was missing for me as a viewer. I'm so not a movie critic. I'm just like a regular viewer. So somewhere that expectation was not met. With KGF 2, yes, I was like, I want Yash to be the one man army, and I
Yeah.
want the antagonist Adhira to be equally competent. And I got that. I really got that. So that's what. So I have certain checkpoints that when I'm going for a movie, the director and the actor, the combination, it has to meet certain expectations, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah.
So there's a comment from Farhad Dalal. So he's one of my good friends who
Okay.
regularly collaborates with me on the channel. He does reviews for like solo reviews as well on my channel. Plus he runs a website called Popcorn Reviews,
Okay.
where they do textual reviews as well. So he says Beast was really disappointing, rather underwhelming. So okay, now that we are talking about Beast, so so I was one of those few ones who liked Master. Okay, not a lot of people like Master, but I did because
Enjoyed it. It
I,
was
I, I yeah, I mean, I felt that that was something that the director promised was somewhat given. Like if you would have seen the interviews before Master came out, so Lokesh had said that I've tried to make a 50% Lokesh film and 50% Vijay film, right? And
correct.
they somewhat delivered it as well, because if you draw comparisons between Master and Beast, so the first 20 minutes again, both of the film have very engaging 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
And the Master was even all the more different because Vijay was not even introduced for the first 20 minutes. It was all about Vijay Setupathy's character. So,
Right.
so that's what I felt when when Beast was announced, and we just had Doctor by the same director as well.
Hmm.
So I felt, since Master was his previous film, where he sort of experimented with a few things, and it was not all Vijay per se.
Hmm.
I thought, since again the director is coming with a good CV in his previous
Right.
films, he might go the Master way or even a notch above that. But what we get after the first 20 minutes of the film, I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised when he goes to the therapist as well, after the death of the kid. But
Hmm.
then suddenly, like it all changes, and I just couldn't figure out whether again it was like that director versus Vijay thing, which again sort of harmed the whole experience for audiences as well. Did you feel that uh, it is because of the baggage that comes with a huge star?
It does. It does, because then you're putting that star in a particular box, and with Master Vijay sort of was moving away from it. and I really like that. And in fact, I talk about Master also in my review, that exactly
Yeah.
what you said,
Yeah.
that it delivered on the front, that yes, I could get the flavor of Lokesh Kanagaraj and I
Yeah.
could see Vijay's swag also, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And here also I was expecting, Veera's character to be wacky,
Mm.
and not, yeah, he could be the one man army, I have no problems with that, but give him a formidable opponent so that we
Yeah.
feel that, yeah, he's going out of his way to, save all these hostages. And I think it's the direction was the only point, because overall, like I said, I enjoyed, like, I did not get bored. For me, it was like fine. I'm not feeling bored because Vijay is there, and I really like his screen presence, and
Mm.
that is what I'm enjoying right now.
And of
But
course, his dance. You being a dancer yourself.
that was so cool. The first 20 minutes of this movie before the title card Beast arrives, I was like, wow, this movie is going to be awesome,
Yeah.
because the way it started, and I was so happy. I was like, yes, yes, I think I'm in for a treat. It's a little dwindled down because every time I was watching the film, I was like, huh, fine, chal raha hai, good stunts, all of that, great music. Anirudh's music was so good. And I
I
was like,
think
where
out
is
of
Nelson? I was like,
out of
where is Nelson? I want his presence in the movie. I can't see. So I think that was the only point. Otherwise, rest all okay, I guess.
I mean, see, out of all these three films which we are talking about today, if there's one department where Beast probably stands out ahead of the other two, is Anirudh's music. I mean, he's
Love it.
definitely the pick out of the three. But still, talking about Beast again, somewhat I felt that, you know, now I saw a few more reviews as well other than yours, and people were saying that just like every other film, Vijay film, like the only reason why the lead actress was there was for the dance moves and a little bit of romantic angle, but nothing major to contribute to the film or the plot line, right? Some people are saying, okay, this is how Nelson works. Like he's this is a satire sort of a thing, that he's making a joke on himself or the Tamil industry, that's how we use the girls in these kind of films. But okay, let me take Faraz's comment as well. What worked in Master was a great antagonist as
Yes.
well. In Beast, the antagonists were barely there, just laughable, to be honest.
Yeah, I exactly say this in my review, that give Talapati Vijay a great antagonist, and then I would feel like I
Yeah,
couldn't feel any threat from those
yeah,
terrorists. This is the exact thing I mentioned in the review, that I need to feel a threat as an audience, so that when Talapati is trashing those guys, I'm actually cheering for him. But here
yeah.
I knew from the beginning, नहीं इनको तो मार ही देगा यार, ये तो एकदम लल्लू
And
type.
didn't you think that this whole thing was already understood in trailer itself? I mean, there are a few bad guys, a mall is hijacked, he was already there, so he'll just save the people and that's it. Like, there was, apart from that therapy angle or the first 20 minutes where the girl dies,
Hmm.
there was not much of a surprise element in that, right?
Right.
Apart from, like, of course, you can enjoy the fight sequences or the plane sequences and all. That is only for the visual spectacle.
I wish they would have kept the minister angle a surprise. Like that was revealed too quickly. That could
Yeah.
have been like a good surprise angle, that, oh, actually the minister is working with the terrorist and he's sort
Mm.
of, supporting them from back, because that was revealed too. I was like, "Arey, itni jaldi reveal kar diya, why?" Maybe there was some twist at the end, but I
Yeah.
think now, because now that we have watched the film, they could have kept that as a surprise up their sleeve.
Yeah, and these kind of things, I mean, so now moving from Beast to, let's go to RRR. So for me, like, it's different. You watched RRR thoda pehle, and the other two now.
Correct.
So I watched all three back to back, single day. So
How can you process so much? Yeah, seriously.
so okay, there's a comment. Shine Tom was really wasted.
I so agree with this comment. Shine was wasted. I initially thought Shine would be the villain. I think a lot of
Okay.
people were thinking that only, because Shine is so good. If Shine was the villain, now I am telling you,
Yeah.
it would have, because he is so intimidating as a villain. He would have really pulled off that role so well. But okay, he can be the nice guy also. But he really, really would have made a great antagonist.
Yeah, and no, see the again Master, where it works more, like Farad pointed out that there was a great antagonist in Vijay Sethupathi. Even like antagonist के भी एक level नीचे जाओगे तो that guy with the big beard and the heavy voice, I forgot his name, who was the sidekick for Vijay Sethupathi. That was another, like, like first
No,
Vijay has
no.
to
Correct,
first
correct, correct.
yeah, first Talapati has to go through him, and then he goes to the final fight sequence, right? Okay,
Correct.
there's a comment. It says Bollywood is just making remake over remake. They have no script or have good writers. I think that's a debate for some other stream. That's a but
Easy
I can
money.
I
They
can
make.
understand where he's coming from. Now let's go to RRR, because for me that was probably the film I looked forward to the most out
Okay.
of these three, and I had missed when it came out because I was on a trip, family trip. So now with RRR, okay, I'll be honest, because how Bahubali had set a lot of expectations, both the parts, with SS Rajamouli being this huge visionary director, something like what Shankar does, with all
Right.
these films.
Right.
So with Bahubali, again, the expectations were such that you were expecting something similar or even better scale, because as you also pointed out that once people get success and then they're given the next project, of course the budgets get bigger as well.
Right.
So they have to make sure that it's fully used. So with RRR, my problem was, even though the film was technically very strong, and like visually, VFX and special effects, everything was top notch. Like you can finally you can say that we don't need to hire people from Hollywood for all these kind of things. But for me, where it lagged, and a lot of my viewers on All Things Cinema in the community section also agreed with me, that the plot line was so outdated. I mean, it literally felt
Oh,
like
I
uh,
mean, it was
it
already
literally
given in the trailer. The plot line was
yeah.
already
I
revealed in
mean,
the trailer.
I know, but the thing is, you are in 2021, 2022, not in 1922, and it literally felt like we are in 1922, just like them in the film. Like, so predictable twists and turns, and the plot line. So, I mean, for me, the point was, how much will you appreciate the technical aspects of the film if you can't really connect with the story?
I got your point. No, I agree with your point somewhat, because
Yeah.
like in my review, I'll go back to what I said in my review, is that it's the most simple plot line, which was already revealed in the trailer, that you have this girl child who, NTR wants to save. And of course, Ram Charan's character Ram is trying to sort of catch him. So, and the major, for me, like I said, I had certain checkpoints when I went to the film, because I was like, even if I look at Bahubali's technically story, it's pretty simple and pretty linear. There are literally no nuances in that. Okay, it's the spectacle with the drama and the
Yeah.
melodrama that people loved, and the scale. Okay, because if you see Bahubali, it has so many unrealistic action scenes, which, I mean, Bahubali mein everybody is like a demigod only. Prabhas's character was literally like a demigod in that.
Mm.
Here I was like, ha, theek hai. For me, it's like Ram Charan and Junior NTR are there. I want to see their friendship, because that is for me the main crux that I'm expecting. I want to see a visual spectacle, and I was really curious what's Alia Bhatt's role going to be, Ajay Devgan's role going to be. So that part really disappointed me. Ajay Devgan to chalo still possible, but Alia Bhatt, I don't know why she was there at all. I don't know. So for me, what worked is not the storyline. It was Junior NTR and Ram Charan's character, like chemistry, basically the bromance part of it, and the music and the spectacle. So these things made it an enjoyable watch, and I would really, I have understood while watching these three films, that how much a theater crowd changes your
Yeah.
experience. Because for RRR also, I had watched it just when the movie had released. Like movie released on, I think I was the second day after the release. So the hype was there, the buzz was there. So the crowd was also very, very energetic to watch this film. So again, I had this very, very cheerful, energetic crowd. So when the entire surroundings, when people hype something up, you also feel hyped up. So I had a very different mindset. I don't know how your crowd was and how many people were also there in the theater when you were watching RRR. I have no idea.
So I went day before, and like it was still 50% occupied. But the thing is, so of course, as you said, it's been a few weeks since the film came. So I'm sure the kind of crowd it was right now. It was
Hmm.
not the kind of crowd would have been on the first weekend, like वो तालियों और सीटियों वाला crowd नहीं था.
Correct.
But
Correct.
the difference was literally by the end when he just so casually he picks up the bullets and just throws at him. I literally saw a couple of people walking out of theater. I mean, probably that was their saturation, but okay, he's like, I've had it enough.
That was clarified by Rajamouli that at that point of time there was a model of the bike that was made, which was actually you could lift it up.
No,
So that
lifting, see,
because
Ashmita, lifting up is one thing, but to just throw it with an aim to somebody standing a few feet away, that's he can't give an explanation for that, right?
but then he to can't give explanation for anything in Bahubali.
Anything, yeah.
So
In Bahubali, okay.
Bahubali also you can't give an explanation.
Of-
He never confirmed that they are demigods and they have so much strength. Like the
yeah,
scene where Prabhas is literally pulling that statue with
yeah,
all
yeah.
of these people. So I mean, I got explanation, Manga. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, see,
When I watch such movies, I am not looking for nuances because as a viewer, I know from which movie what to expect. Bare
hmm,
minimum what to expect for me to do. Because if I become so critical of a movie, then I will never enjoy any movies. Because I feel as a viewer, I generally enjoy all genres. So be it very nuanced, character driven stories, be it like a slow burn movie, complete masala entertainer, romantic horror, this and that. So I view the movie as a movie in that particular universe. So I think that generally that's why I think I end up getting less disappointed unless and until these basic expectation is not met.
see, I'm all for being in a fictional world of Bahubali. Okay, even like so, I was having this argument with a friend. He said that in most of the South Indian films, maybe apart from Kerala a bit, but like Telugu and Tamil films, all these protagonists have superpowers. Like they can literally handle a whole group
Bollywood
of.
also, that's holds true for Hindi
No,
films.
but see, I have seen Rajnikant kill 50 people, 100 people. Okay, but this took it to another level for me. The opening sequence where we are getting introduced to Ram Charan's character, he is handling the whole mob single-handedly.
Ah, once that happens,
How's that? Like, even if you give the director a bit of creative freedom or cinematic liberty, okay, that this is possible, that is possible. But that was like, there's a limit of creative or cinematic liberty also, right? I mean, that's not.
I, from that perspective, I can agree with you. But like I said, when I went into the theater, my set of expectations were very very different.
Yeah.
Like I was already ready and prepared in my head to watch unrealistic scenes happen.
Okay.
So when it happened, I was like, "Huh, cool." ये तो expect किया था मैंने. I was also expecting this to happen, so it's okay.
Okay. And were you expecting him to literally become Lord Ram by the end in that fight sequence with the
I
Dhanush
mean,
Ban and
I mean, that was shown in the trailer only.
No, no. I mean,
Then
see, I know, it was shown in the trailer, but we knew that there's a Ram Sita angle with these character names as well. But how much of it did you think was needed? Like, do you think they would have done it for a bit of like? Would this have helped them get more business in the in?
not really. I
Uh,
mean, I think because I think the character name is
and
also.
I'm strictly talking about because the kind of times we're living in these days. Given the political
Honestly, I didn't even
atmosphere.
think of it. When I was watching it, I didn't even think of it because the statue was shown and all. They're the only thing that I was, what came in my mind when I came back home. I was like, oh, chalo, wo sab to theek hai. He's, hitting everyone with the bow and arrow. But the arrows were never getting exhausted.
Yeah.
And no one, it was so. Of course, couple of people commented that no, he probably took the arrow, which already hit the person. I was like, at least those people दिखा देते. I mean, yeah, that seems like a logical explanation, but then you could have shown it, because every time I could see till the end of that battle that the arrows were never getting exhausted. So I thought that, but just because we are living in the times, I think this is what we have been conditioned to think, that anything which is related to, Lord Ram has to have an agenda, which I don't agree with. I mean, it's just his vision and he showed it, and I don't think we should look into it, in any other aspect. It's just a movie. It's released. It's
I mean,
gone. It did its
it
job. It's
see,
done.
it was just an innocent question.
No, no,
Okay,
no,
let's
but
move.
I'm saying that see, this is what I think we are so conditioned to now think that anything which is related to, Ram, or Lord Ram, or anybody saying Jai Shri Ram, has to have any sort of propaganda.
No,
I
and
don't
it's
agree
not
with
just it's not just Lord Ram. I mean, if it would have been any other Hindu god, I would have still raised the same question. It's not just the Lord Ram angle. I'm just saying that things like these. I mean, even without uh, getting into the Lord Ram wala character, if he would have remained himself as Raju and
that.
fought for. I mean, I'm just saying without the attire and all, like
Hmm.
without getting into exact same attire that the
The flair. See, that adds the
I
flair
know.
with that appearance. No, I
But
am just talking from a director's vision, like
yeah,
what he
yeah.
thought, that what looks more cinematic, if Raju is wearing that injured cloth and then fighting, or if he's wearing, that saffron, beautiful, Ram's attire, and then
Mm.
fighting with the bow and arrow. So visually, what is more stunning? I think he would have thought that, okay, this works, and of course, it's sort of, yeah, like a
Yeah,
homage also.
it looked pretty good. Yeah, there's
It
no
looks
questions
good,
about that.
right?
Yeah.
So I see, that's what for me. The only thing I was like, इसके arrows खत्म क्यों नहीं हो रहे? How is he getting this infinite arrows? कहीं पे खत्म क्यों नहीं हो रहे? My only thing was that यार थोड़ा तो दिखा देते कि oh, he's picking up, from the people who have died. He's already shot at least one scene. I would have like chalo, some logical
Yeah.
thing has been shown.
Let's take a few comments as well. Chandra Kiran says, talking about South India, yeah, elevations are a bit cinematic, but let's say Bollywood, take a check on Salman movies. Radhe, check out his intro scene. That was
Yeah,
so. See, that's what I'm talking about. Ki, there's a level of cinematic liberty as well. One guy killing even 100 people is also, I can give them the cut them some slack. But one guy managing the whole mob of more than 1,000, I think it was like 10,000 people, the way they have shown.
yeah,
So
those too many.
that was too much for me. Like, and Sajeev Nair says, you're right. If these films would have been a bit grounded, could have been more enjoyable. I mean, to each his own. Like for some people, this is more enjoyable because of this whole over the
Right,
top thing.
right. I mean,
And yeah,
if tomorrow Rajamouli decides to make a very, very grounded film, which is also visually stunning, I think he'll promote it that way.
yeah, that's
His
true.
style of promotion would be changed, because he's smart, so
Yeah,
he knows what the audience wants, and I think the way RRR has been, was marketed before its release, I was like, yeah, they are promoting it well, and the way they are promoting it, this is, they promised us a visual spectacle, they gave us that. So
yeah,
if tomorrow he is making a very nuanced kind of film which is
yeah,
more grounded, I think he'll promote the movie in that way, so that when we go into the theaters, we are not disappointed ki, Arey, where is that grand spectacle that I was, larger than life hero, where is it? So I think it depends, a lot on the director's perspective, and at the end, the viewers are, the final sayers,
yeah.
that we
There's
reject it or we accept it.
There's a very, very good comment. Chandra Kiran says this happens in Bollywood, Tollywood, Hollywood too. But the advantage of Hollywood is in Marvel DC protagonists are already demigods. So audience don't really focus on technical terms. And that's I was arguing on this with my friend as well. Like he says same people who enjoy Marvel, Spider-Man and Superman and whatnot, just because it's a Bollywood film, they pick out these flaws. But I was like, at least there is some logical reasoning given for that, right? Superman comes from another planet.
Hmm.
Spider-Man was bitten by a spider. So
Right.
all these things make you program your mind as an audience that
That
then you start.
yeah, they're demigods.
But
Correct.
here, like in RRR, there was no superpower or there was no logic or reasoning given by the start of the film that why they are, this kind of why they are doing these superhuman stunts. So
Mhm.
that's where, as an audience or as a critic, I was a
Correct.
little disappointed, and that's why I sent you that remark that I saw a horrible movie.
No, like you said for that comment also, with Sajeev, that yeah, to each his own, because it really, really, at the end of the day, it depends on how you want to, take this movie. Because if in the first few minutes you start pinpointing that, oh, this is not right, then you're gonna be out of the movie for the rest of the remaining hours.
Yeah.
Okay, that I feel the first 15-20 minutes, make a lot of difference where if the movie is able to hook you up, then even at the second half when you are like, okay, it started off well but now it's dwindling a little, but you still remember that, oh, the good aspects which actually hooked you up in the first half. But in the first 20 minutes, if you're like, this is crap, then even if the second half is good, you'll be like, this is crap.
See, I didn't go with any expectations or premeditated thoughts that this is going to be crap. Okay, I had also seen the trailer.
Hmm.
Actually, most of the times I sometimes try to skip trailers as well. And
Okay.
I'd seen the thing with this was, since I'd seen the trailer long back in December or something when it came, and I was going for the movie only now, so I'd kind of forgotten the trailer as well. So it worked in the film's favor, and yet the film disappointed me in the that
No,
mob sequence.
it can
Uh,
always disappoint. It's fine.
and you talked about the promotion thing. So did you also feel that Beast was not properly promoted as well as KGF 2 and RRR? Probably that's also one of the reasons why it tanked.
I think, yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, at
There was
least
no hype.
if you are, marketing it as a pan India firm,
Yeah.
uh, the promotions need to be good. But I don't think that's the reason it tanked, because Pushpa barely had any promotions,
Hmm.
but it was like a box office success in like pan India. So it has to do with, I mean, it's always a lot of word of mouth. Like Pushpa really became a hit because of the word of mouth and the power that Allu Arjun has. So I feel the kind of power Allu Arjun holds in the northern belt, Talapati is getting there. He has a huge presence. Like Beast also did good numbers in, I think, the southern belt, but not here. Yeah, and I have not watched like the Hindi dubbed. I went for the Tamil, original version only, but I watched it with the subtitles, because I was when I watched the Hindi trailer, the for Beast, I was really disappointed. I was like, no, I'm not getting that confidence, so I'm not going to watch it in Hindi. So I'll watch it in Tamil only. For KGF 2, I went for the Hindi dub.
What about
So I
RRR?
RRR Hindi.
So okay, now again, thank God you saw it in Hindi. Did you feel that the Hindi dubbing was really bad? Because I
As good as Bahubali.
Yeah, because see, first of all, I don't think they actually hired voice artists from North Indian belt, because you could sense a bit of a accent as well in Hindi, like especially a few words or a few pronunciations
Hmm.
made me feel like they were probably from Hyderabad or Andhra somewhere. And like, there's a thing called voice acting as well. So
Hmm.
I felt like a few expressions were missing, or it felt it fell flat at times. So I didn't really connect with the Hindi dubbing. But and out of three, you saw only KGF 2 in Kannada?
Yeah. So Beast I watched in Tamil, but rest two I watched in Hindi. So
Hindi.
KGF 2 dubbing was quite good.
Yeah.
KGF dubbing was really good. I really liked the dubbing. Even for KGF 1 also I liked the dubbing. But I always feel that I ensure that I watch the movie in the original language also. So whenever they release in the OTT, I will watch it in, Telugu and Kannada, both the
Yeah.
movies respectively. Because that's where you actually understand the way the dialogue delivery is and how the actor is sort of acting. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And now coming to KGF 2 as well, a bit in detail. Uh, a lot of people are saying KGF 1 was a better installment than KGF 2. Did you feel the same as well?
Not really. No, I honestly did not feel that, because I see KGF 1 was like the rise of this person, because KGF 1 is literally an underdog story.
Hmm.
And KGF in KGF 2, he is already the boss.
Hmm.
So there is a shift in his attitude, and that is what a character development is for me. If again he was again the underdog in KGF 2 also, then I would be like, then what is the difference between both the movies? I
No,
already
I
have
mean, it's not just the underdog thing. Like, like there is a like people are a bit separated on Bahubali 1 and 2. Like some people say 1 was better, some people say 2 is better. That way, like, as a whole, as a film, as an experience.
I see KGF 1 though I only watched in OTT, so there is
Okay.
no theater experience for me in
Okay. Yeah.
1. So I watched it in OTT when it had released. So that's why for me this was really one of the most enjoyable theater experiences for me. So maybe that bias is there in my head that
Hmm.
because I enjoyed it so much watching in the theaters, that I feel that okay, this is also a really good installment, which is as good as KGF 1. Because when I watched KGF 1 alone, and then again I rewatched it with my father, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Because I mean, it was such a nice underdog story with all that glamour and swag and Rocky Bai, going to the top. But in KGF 2, I what I liked is that yeah, Rocky has that attitude. He thinks that yeah, he's the boss and nothing can go wrong and stuff like that. So I like that part. Like, yeah, there is a character change because when you become the boss, I mean, you have those shifts. Like that's human nature, right? When you are reaching
Yeah.
that top, there's some sort of change in you which comes in. So I thought, yeah, this is realistic. This is realistic enough that he thinks that yeah, nobody can touch him and stuff like that. So yeah, it was enjoyable, and I was expecting a political angle, which I got. I wanted Adhira to be very, very good and scary. That also I got. So, and I was
But
expecting.
but I saw your review. So
Hmm.
of course, the villain here was scary looking, but again, as you said in the review, like it was like the build up towards the face
Yeah,
off, the clash of titans, it just didn't come off as you expected, right?
yeah, because I personally wanted. I'm sure that is of course the director's call. See, I think that probably Prashant Neel thought that everybody knows who Adhira is because we have given enough backstory in the first film. But I wanted even more character development for Adhira because I know as a viewer who he is and I know what happened to him and all of that. But I just know it as part of the narration.
Hmm.
I have not because when you watch some of the scenes, I would have wanted between Adhira and Garuda that face off or something like that. How the
Yeah.
brothers were together, so that would have given even more depth to Adhira because I know he's scary. I know he's scary, and Sanjay Dutt carries off that demeanor really well. But if there was something like couple of scenes, if we would have added, but that was just my thing that is why I would have been even
maybe
more invested in Adhira's character.
maybe there were a few scenes got deleted because a lot of times the director's cut is not the final cut, just like how
True.
we saw Snyder cut later on, or even the Batman one, they just released the Joker scene later on, so maybe there would have been scenes. uh, and Okay, so let me take the comment again. Sajeev says Ramcharan and Junior NTR dubbed themselves. Is it true? Did they dub in Hindi as well? I know they dubbed in Tamil, but I don't know if they dubbed in Hindi.
I
It
don't
didn't
know the
it
Hindi
didn't
double.
feel like their voices. Okay, so let's take this comment. KGF 1 is better because Rocky became selfless and finally picked up that hammer to help the oppressed. Sidetracking from the task he was given, part 2 is just me, me, me. So how much of this you agree with?
I agree with the comment. Part two is him, 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 because, and I think he sort of justifies it at the end because he's like, I'm doing it for my mother. Yes, I have helped you all, but I have not forgotten the original promise that I made to my mother that she'll have all the gold and stuff like that, and I'm going to be the richest person and all of that. So he also tells that for that, if I have to become a villain also, I will be. But that promise is the most important thing, and that was the tagline of the movie. A promise was
Hmm.
made, the promise will be kept.
Yeah.
So that is why it was me, me, me. And he said, yes, I will do whatever it takes to fulfill that promise, no matter what. So we dig more gold. He's like, no, no, do more mining, do more mining, do more mining. He kept on saying that. And then, people point out that you have become a different person. You have
Yeah.
become a different person and you don't care about it. So all of those things were pointed out. Like people said that in the movie. The characters told him that you have become this some other person totally, we can't recognize you. You are not that Rocky that we knew. And then he takes them to the grave and shows that, okay, this is my father. The father reveal. I was like, oh, cool. Karwao kam, Papa said.
See,
So the comment is correct. He's not wrong in saying that, yeah, it
yeah,
was more like a rise and he was selfless and then it became me, me. But it gets justified by he tells us why it is me, me, me.
that's true. But I also felt that in India, especially when first part is successful, and as you pointed out, like when they get bigger budgets for the second part, I somewhere feel that the trouble in that situation then it it's more about how the film looks
Hmm.
and it's less about the plot. Like because KGF 1, the plot was a bit more organic for me, right? Uh, I
True.
had the same issue in Bahubali as well. Like Bahubali 1, it bit felt more organic to me. But in part 2, it feels like it's more loudness, okay? Extreme loudness, like literally,
It was very loud.
as you.
My theater though was very loud. I thought that something is wrong with the sound
No, no,
system.
that's
How
and
can it be that
no,
loud?
I watched RRR Beast and KGF all in the same theater in Inox Malad. Both RRR and KGF 2 were loud. Like they are mixed and mastered the audience in such a way that it impacts people like that.
No, but
But
RRR, I couldn't like because in KGF 2, I mentioned this in my review also. There were certain parts where my ears went numb, but I did not feel that in RRR. Like no, in no point I was like, oh my god, this is too loud. But in KGF 2, there were certain parts where I was like, this is way too loud. Like my eardrums
yeah,
are really burst. This is not like
did
safe
you
decibel limit.
did you watch Tenet by the way? Like
Yeah.
Tenet, even Tenet background score was quite loud. I think in some films people do it specifically in these kind of films where they know that there's going to be a lot of hooting and shouting and clapping in the theater, so they want to keep that sort of mahal with the music as well. But again, KGF 2, I felt too much sound but too little impact. Like the impact which KGF 1 had left on everybody of us, and we were so waiting for the part 2, right? So that way, I just felt uh, too many things, how too many cooks spoil a dish. So probably here a bit too many things got involved. Like suddenly you have a Sanjay Dutt kind of a person joining the team. Ravina Tandon is there. So as the banner got bigger and bigger, so I just felt in these sort of situations, the films then concentrate more on the looks and how the presentation is than the plotting and the
So
storyline.
the third one, so you will be fully disappointed because the third one was going global. Third, the Rocky Bhai going global. KGF 3.
No, but see, a good director will still be able to get through that as well. But okay, so just before we end, so KGF 3, what are your expectations? Like how the part 2 ended? Can you like predict anything? Like in Batman, we could predict, okay, Joker is probably there in the next part. So here, can you predict anything?
I honestly, if you ask me, I have not watched any because there are so many prediction analysis videos that
Yeah,
have come out for the film. I have
yeah,
not watched a single one. I have not watched a single one because I am totally scratching my head thinking कि ये तो मर गया because his body is down unless and until somebody saved him like Captain America. चलो Captain America था तो he was frozen. But here probably I don't know if somebody pulled him out. Uh, but that's highly unlikely. But
Hmm.
there was the so my only thing is that he mentions there is a very big plan that the final plan that he wants to execute. So I think, but we never knew what was the final plan.
Hmm.
That was never shown. So that has been left open ended. So the big plan to conquer the world is going to be shown in KGF. Now, what is that big plan? I don't know because you have people from US and all of that coming in. So we have all the foreign agencies involved. So he has done
Yeah.
something. So I don't know if the backdrop is going to be a world war backdrop. I don't know. I don't know. I feel I that's the only guess I can make right now. It's probably in the movie is going to happen in the backdrop of World War, and he has done something. He has because he got into weapons and stuff also.
Yeah.
Inayat Khan's weaponry and all of that. I don't know because we never knew what he did when he went to meet Inayat Khan. We only know he took those guns, but he could have done even something more. maybe with
Do
the
you, do you
weapons.
think do you think they could probably put the whole Ukraine and Russia thing as well somewhere in the plot?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the world of movies.
Yeah,
Oh, let me
and
a couple of comments.
it's always about me, me, me. Whole point was his mom, the mom dream. But in KGF 1, he had no intention to help oppressed. Is the connection he got remembering his mother when he watched the people over there?
Correct.
Chapter 3 is about what happens between 78 and 81. Okay, that's an interesting one from Arun Joshi.
So
Sajid
there's
says,
an older comment which I've just saw from Vijay. Ram Charan's attire is not Ram's attire. People are mistaken. The Alluri Sitaram Raju. That's true. This comment is correct because he
okay.
is the real freedom fighter. And if you see his statue and everything, that's the attire that he used to wear. So I think that's a homage to the freedom
Hmm.
fighter actually.
Okay. That's if that's there, then I was unaware of it. By the
Correct.
way, around 30 people are watching right now. So if you have come from Ashmita's channel, then please subscribe to All Things Cinema as well. And if you're watching from my channel, then check out Ashmita's channel as well. It's right there in the title.
Oh, I
Uh,
want us to discuss Alvin's comment. RRR Beast KGF 2 female leads, which I so agree.
that's true. Yes.
So true. That's so true.
We actually did talk about Beast, right? Like why Pooja Hegde was there just for the
Yeah.
dance moves and the Arabic kuttu.
Hmm.
But other than that, I mean, you know, before, so since we both have a huge chunk
All
of,
the female leads. We can't. There are no leads. She's not a leading character in any way.
I mean, for female leads now these days, you have to go and watch films like Gangubai or Dhakad is coming. So
I think I'm getting.
all these things will make up for these kind of so-called lead female leads. But okay, before we end this, it's also important. See, all these three films. Okay, one is Tamil, one is Telugu, one is Kannada. All have done big sort of business and pan
Yeah.
India, and a huge chunk of our audience comes from Kerala. Okay,
Hmm.
now do you think in near future there is anything of same scale coming out of Kerala? Do you think Jana Gana Mana will be able to do the same kind of impact? Because you probably won't expect this scale, these kind of budgets from there, because and surprisingly today I got to know Beast had 2x budget of KGF 2. That
Oh,
was, yeah.
because Sun Pictures, now they have a lot
Yeah,
of. They have a
yeah.
lot of.
I
Yeah.
was seeing this Bhardwaj Rangan Q&A, and he told like Beast had 2x budget, and yet look how different the two films look. This one is only done majorly in a mall, and that one is a whole different world in half the budget. So, uh, but anyway, the question was about Jana Gana Mana. Do you think it's also coming in the same month now? Do you think it will be able to match these kind of expectation or leave the kind of impact these films have left?
I don't know because all these three movies got a lot of screens and there was lot of hype because the way it was promoted as like the massy films.
Yeah.
Jana Gana Mana is definitely not like a massy film. This is like more what now I'm going to go expecting like a character driven, completely nuanced movie. So
But that's what you expect from Malayalam films.
Malayalam cinema, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be my basic expectation. But I did not expect that with Bhishma Parvam. I was like, I want
Okay.
to see Mammootty in action. I want to
Yeah.
see him do Dishum Dishum. So it depends on the kind of movie. So I don't think it is Jana Gana Mana is being promoted also that way
Hmm.
as a pan India kind of. If it does well, oh, I'm going to be so happy. Like with minimal promotion and
Yeah.
not a very high budget.
See, but the difference here is it's coming directly on OTT, right?
No, it's a theatrical release.
Okay.
28
Yeah.
releasing
Okay.
theater. It's a
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I've got confused with the other one that is coming directly to OTT. Was it CBI 5?
CVI 5 is also having a theatrical release on 1st. That's what I
Okay.
know.
First
Yeah,
of May.
1st May.
Okay. So these two now. Okay. I mean, coming back to back. So any of them, do you think of course it's sort of pan India approach in the promotions as well, but uh, with Malayalam cinema, you can expect a bit more logic and reasoning. So, do you think, if not that kind of level business wise, but at least impact wise or filmmaking wise, these films can match this scale?
Yeah, Malayalam cinema is technically always very, very superior. With
Mm.
such limited budget, they make amazing, amazing movies. So it depends because I don't know in terms of numbers how well it will do because Jana Gana Mana has a huge hype in
Yeah,
Kerala.
yeah,
People are so stoked for this movie, including me.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
the trailer only blew my mind away.
yeah.
So
Literally blue.
literally, literally. So I am so so looking forward to that film and Prithvi Raj in that character. And I don't know, like, and Suraj is there. He's such an
Mm.
incredible actor. So so many things which are working in the favor of this film. And it seems to be like a very very intense film. But I don't know in terms of numbers. I don't think it's going to be able to pull in from a business perspective that many numbers from
Yeah, of course.
pan India, but I know that the hype is so much there in Kerala, so it's going
Yeah.
to do well in the homegrown box office for sure. So
Mm.
it'll. My prediction is yes, it'll become a hit, but not as huge as these three films.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even
Something like Bengal Murli, if it was
yeah.
the way Netflix promoted it for their OTT, if the same promotion was done for the theaters, I
Mm.
think Minal Murli had all the potential to pull in
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
and I think I'm very sure if the part two of that is coming, then they will approach it pan India wise.
Hmm.
And even out of the three films which we discussed, I don't think Beast was like a pan India film because
It was
there's
promoted like that, but the promotions were not done well.
yeah.
But it was promoted as a pan India film only.
I can actually, I can expect that from Vikram because that is like the next Tamil film
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
has a lot of expectations because recently like Beast didn't do well, Valimai didn't do well, so these two films not doing well, it puts a bit more pressure on Vikram and uh,
Correct.
uh, 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 Kamal Haasan and all these people. So
And
I,
this comment which we just got right now, like you need world building, from this person, HT.
you need world building for a pan India release. It should set in a dystopian world. A hero that looks like Yash will also help.
But for a movie like Vikram, also they are actually doing that world building
Okay.
because the kind they when they release the title poster, the title
Hmm.
card, Vikram title
Yeah.
release, and you know that okay, this is like a mafia kind of world
Yeah.
building that they're doing.
Yeah.
Then not behind the scenes and so that's what when you're promoting it as a pan India film, you have to go through certain steps to
Hmm.
create that hype.
Yeah.
Which you release a teaser, promote it well, then give a little bit glimpse and promote it everywhere. And you need money for that, of course. You need to have those budgets. Not everybody can afford to, do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chandra Kiran says Liger also has some good expectations pan India. I
Uh,
think even like from now, if we talk about Hindi now, I mean there is a Brahmastra coming that will also have a pan India approach.
yes.
So even Jersey for I mean it is a Telugu remake, but how Kabir Singh did kind of a pan India business. Who knows? Jersey might have the same impact.
But Jersey, I don't see. The thing is, with Kabir Singh, uh, I think the timing played a huge role. And Jersey now people have already seen, okay, again delayed,
Yeah.
again the
Yes.
release. Like
Yeah.
now, even people are a little skeptical. Ki, okay,
Yeah.
fine, you're
Yeah.
pushing the like, is the movie not good?
Hmm.
Because I think a lot of people who watch movies and are follower movies, a lot of people would have watched the Telugu film,
Yeah. Of
Jersey,
course.
including me. So believe me, there is going to be like every review is going to have a comparison with Nani's performance, and I am pretty sure like Shahid would have done like pulled off the character well because he's a good actor. But unfortunately now he has even this added pressure that okay, because
Hmm.
Nani made that character, you know,
Unreal. Yeah.
he's unreachable. It's one of his best performances till date. So it's a huge deal. For all the Nani fans are gonna watch, and they'll be like, if Shahid has done justice to the role or not. So there is an added pressure for this. So I understand why the release is getting pushed and pushed and pushed. But yeah, I hope it does well. See, I always wish that movies do well because it's not easy to make movies and so much money is involved. So yeah, let's hope for the
Yeah,
best.
because there's pressure on Bollywood as well, right? Because how Pushpa did, and how RRR and KGF now did. So there is a huge pressure to make first of all make originals, and then make that kind of money from originals, not from remakes, right?
Right.
Because it now I think at least Shah Rukh Khan is on the right track. He's not remaking. He's Pathan and what
Donkey.
Donkey.
Donkey. Donkey. Yes.
So both of these seem to be originals,
Yes.
and with big budgets, and one is YRF, one is Raju Irani. So I'm hoping that at least those films do this kind of pan India business as well,
Yeah. That's why
because
I post from Brahmastra that if
yeah,
it's
yeah,
something
yeah,
different, I want to see something different. I don't want to see like fine remake is money making business and that's
yeah.
easy out, but I want to see something original now.
Absolutely. I mean, even Runway 34. Like, have you seen these? I'll give you two Hollywood films. Have you seen Sully and Flight?
Yes, I've seen Sully.
Sully, Tom Hanks, and Flight, Denzel Washington. It's
I think I've seen Flight. I don't remember, but Sully I've watched twice actually.
yeah. So that trailer looked the amalgamation of both those films. So
Yes,
I
it
don't know.
reminded me of Sully. To be very honest, it actually
Yeah.
reminded me of
I
Sully
mean,
because you put the blame on the pilot,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But in a more dramatic way, like Sully was very nuanced and
yeah, 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 absolutely.
it had a very somber theme to it. But this one though is fully dramatic.
Yeah. So there's let me take the last comment. I recently got to know about Ashmita. I really loved her excitement about cinema and her reviews.
Thank you,
So
Chandra.
So yeah, I think we've gone on for over an hour. I didn't expect the conversation, and it didn't feel like it's already been an hour. But I think
Make me sit and start talking about movies and music. You won't lie, so we can talk and talk and talk.
so. Speaking of music, I am actually a musician. People who have come from Ashmita's channel. Let me just introduce myself to you guys by the end of the video. But so yesterday, Ashmita shared one of my songs as well, which
Yes.
I have also directed and edited. So you can go check it out and subscribe to my other main. That's actually my main channel. This is like only for the love of cinema what I do. So subscribe to All Things Cinema if you like this conversation. And
Any Bollywood playback singing that we can look forward to that you'll be doing?
uh, as you said,
I
first
mean,
let
you can reveal. I don't know because you could be bound by a contract.
no, I mean first let Bollywood make original films, and then I'll look if I want to do that. Because in remade films, even the songs are remade, right? Like a lot of songs these days are old hits numbers only getting remade.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm not really interested in that. I don't do covers at all. So
Okay.
I'm right now I'm happy doing my independent music. So yeah. So thank you again, Ashmita, for gracing our channel with your presence and your
You'll
smile.
also have to grace after a few days.
Sorry.
You'll also have to grace my channel after some time.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Let me know whenever you want to.
Yes.
And thank you to everyone. 29 people are still watching. Chandra and Sajeev Nair and everybody who are there since the beginning. Thank you for coming. And if you have any comments or anything, just leave it and we'll try to collaborate again and cover those things. Thank you for coming. And this is All Things Cinema. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon and
All
all
that
you yeah, all that jazz, the drill. And we'll see you sometime very soon. Thank you.
jazz. Bye bye.